Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a book haul. This book haul is what I acquired on my most recent visit, my 15th visit to the Book Garden in Cream Ridge, New Jersey. The Book Garden was having their annual 20% off sale. They have it every August to celebrate their anniversary. This year is their 33rd anniversary at their location. They opened up in 1989, even though George has been selling books since 1977, because he started at the New Egypt flea market. But I got myself a total of 23 books while I was there. It was fantastic prices, and that was even before you took 20% off. And I was acquiring books that had just arrived, too, because they had such a great selection of presidential biographies and presidential history. And one thing that I really did was boost my American President series collection. I generally like to buy them when they are secondhand or discounted, because I like the nature of the series, but I think that it is too expensive at its original price. I've seen biographies that are the same, but are hardier and filled with more information. But there's something about this series that I'm just intrigued by. But I got 6 of them right here. I read the William Henry Harrison biography written by Gail Collins, and I read that to prepare for a discussion about William Henry Harrison's inaugural address. But I have a few of them. I was almost going to get the James Madison one before I realized I do own that one. I had bought that before. But I got John Quincy Adams, biography by Robert V. Remini. Biography on Martin Van Buren by Ted Widmer. Book on John Tyler by Gary May. Zachary Taylor by John S. D. Eisenhower, and this is in fact Dwight D. Eisenhower's son. It's a picture of him. He looks just like his dad. There's a biography on James A. Garfield by Ira Rutkow. And a biography on Benjamin Harrison by Charles W. Calhoun. I think that if Gretchen were watching this video, she would be having herself a heyday, and she would be looking immensely into her audiobooks, but for all I know, she could have me beat. Next, I got Friends Divided, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson by Gordon S. Wood. And this is a book about the friendship and rivalry, which became a very bitter rivalry between John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Eventually, they made up before their death on the same date, on July 4th, 1826. I would like to read more on both of these men, and I think that this will really greatly concentrate on the two of them as far as their relation was concerned. Here's another biography on James K. Polk. This is Polk, the man who transformed the presidency in America, by Walter R. Borneman. And Polk is often viewed as a president that more people should be talking about, even though not so many people have spoken about him. He's definitely somebody I want to learn more about. His major contributions were the expansion of the country, as well as the Mexican War that was taking place. That was what he oversaw. Next, I got a biography on Andrew Johnson by Hans L. Trefousse. And Trefousse also wrote the biography for Rutherford B. Hayes in the American President series. I do not have that one yet, but if I ever come across it the same way I come across these, I will acquire it. But I own the more recent biography that pertains to Andrew Johnson's impeachment, but this is a general biography, and the very first one that I've acquired. And Trefousse has written extensively before on Andrew Johnson. He's written, in particular, a book about his impeachment as well. And I also got a biography on Grant by William S. McFeely. There have been a few biographies, general biographies, written about Grant. Ron Chernow's is probably the most familiar, but then there's also American Ulysses, which Jeffrey Keaton reviewed on our channel, and it was quite an honor to have him on board. But this is something that I want to read and compare biographies, too, because I think that even though they say you read one book and you're an expert and you read two and you're confused, you also get a great deal of perspective from... You compare information and then you just put everything together and it ingrains it into your head. So I think there is value to reading multiple biographies. Here is The Trials of Harry S. Truman, The Extraordinary Presidency of an Ordinary Man, 1945 to 1953. This was written by Jeffrey Frank. I'm interested in reading this. What I know about Jeffrey Frank from the biography that I read about him at the back of the book is that he did write for The New Yorker and The Washington Post, and that could say something. He's also written a book about Dwight D. Eisenhower and Richard Nixon's relationship called Ike and Dick. But I'd like to check this out, and I want to see how he approaches a biography on Truman. This concentrates on his presidency, which it's interesting when there are books that concentrate on a particular area of a president. And because I've read books that concentrate, like the Herbert Hoover one that Charles Rapley wrote. That one was written with that concentrated on his presidency. Here is T. Harry Williams's Lincoln and His Generals, which this was written in 1952, and it's a paperback pertaining to Abraham Lincoln and his relationship and his team of generals that fought for the Union during the Civil War. And the last history book that I acquired is Crusade in Europe. This was written by Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1948, and it's a book on military strategy from the perspective of one of the greatest generals in American history. And eventually, he became president. Next is In the World of Literature by Cecil Cleveland. This is a trivia book, and I indulge trivia books. I want to read them much more, and use them to work my brain. I got 2 collections of poetry. Here is the Yearbook of Contemporary Poetry from 1936. The Book Garden is known for having hidden gems like this. You could almost call them antiques, but my reason for acquiring them is to read them, not necessarily to sell them. And the Best American Poetry of 1994. This collection from 1936 was edited by Margaret Nelson. This was edited specifically by A.R. Amons, but the series editor is David Lehman. I got these collections. Here is the works of Tolstoy, and you have Leo Tolstoy's name engraved in the cover. Here is the works of Blazat, same thing, and World's Great Adventure Stories. This is quite a collection, including writers that we're familiar with those not so much, but I think it's important to be able to have a good grasp of all of them and the works that you may be overlooking. Here's the collected poems of Eugenio Monti from 1920 to 1954, and he was a prominent voice when it came to Italian poetry during the time where the fascists ruled Italy, and he spoke as an anti-fascist. Next, I got the collected poems of Edwin Arlington Robinson. This is quite a big find. Here is Teller of Tales. 100 short stories from the United States, England, France, Russia, and Germany. And this was edited and put together by W. Somerset Maugham. He picked the stories and he provided the foreword. And then finally, I got Modern French Classics, which is a collection. This is a cookbook of over 250 traditional and regional classic French recipes. This is Camille Lefort. And from what I'm seeing here, it's just you have the recipe on the left, and you have the finished item on the right. Like, here is Normandy chicken. You have the recipe here, and then you have the recipe here, and that's what it comes. That's the item itself. There were so many great cookbooks. I probably could have gotten so many more. I probably would have gotten more if I was there for the 50% off sale, which they have every year during Thanksgiving weekend. But that's what I acquired. It was a great visit, and there's probably going to be much more when I come again. And those books are coming in. Those books keep coming in with such a great flow. You never know what you're going to find when you're there, and George does an outstanding job with the bookstore. I think it's quite a gem. You definitely want to check out the Book Garden in Cream Ridge, New Jersey. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you check out some more videos from our channel, and for now, keep reading.